Get ready, because today isn't just another day for your mind. It's not about thinking more, it's about thinking deeper. It's about diving where you used to just skim the surface. On the sky of March 25th, Mercury forms an exact sextile with Pluto. And this aspect, though subtle to most, carries immense transformative potential. Mercury is your rational mind. Pluto is your deep unconscious. And when they meet in this kind of harmony, something inside you opens. It's as if a hidden door within your consciousness is unlocked. Suddenly, you realize what was hidden, what was being avoided, what needed to be said, but wasn't. This transit doesn't shout, it whispers. But those who listen never think the same way again. Today you may notice intense, almost obsessive thoughts pulling you inward, a desire for real conversation, no masks, intuitive hits about people, situations, truths, an almost irresistible urge to investigate, uncover, go deeper. This is not a day for small talk. It's a day to listen with your soul, to speak from the root, to think with your whole being. If you know how to channel this energy with presence, it can unlock deep insights about yourself, your relationships, and your oldest patterns. But be warned, Pluto doesn't reveal anything without a price. You'll have to be willing to face what you find, even if what emerges isn't comfortable. To understand the power of this sextile, you have to go beyond the surface of the planets. Mercury and Pluto don't just meet by chance, they complement each other in what's most profound and powerful within us. Mercury the messenger. Mercury rules the mind, language, reasoning, and communication. It's quick, analytical, logical. It's the one that turns the world into words, that transforms intuition into thought, and thought into speech. Mercury is the connector of dots, the one that makes you question, investigate, write, reflect. But on its own, it can stay on the surface. It sees fast, but not always deep. Pluto, the guardian of the underground. Pluto is the planet of deep transformation, symbolic death, and inner rebirth. It rules the invisible hidden truths and unseen power. Pluto doesn't play nice. It digs, reveals, destroys, to rebuild. It's the archetype of the phoenix. Where Pluto touches, nothing remains the same. But what it destroys is only what's already decaying. It rips away the veil, exposes the wound, shows what no one wants to see. And the sextile between them? The sextile is a harmonious aspect, but not a passive one. It's dynamic. It creates opportunities, opens doors for those who are paying attention. In this meeting, Mercury gains depth, courage, and investigative power. Pluto, in turn, gains a voice. Its symbolic messages find a channel to be understood, communicated, transformed. This aspect doesn't force anything, but it offers everything if you're willing to dive in. If you're seeking clarity, a new understanding of something that's always felt confusing, this transit could be the turning point. But remember, don't expect easy answers. Pluto speaks in silence, and Mercury translates in code. You have to listen from within. Today, speaking just to speak won't cut it. The cosmos isn't interested in empty words. It wants you to speak with truth and with depth. The sextile between Mercury and Pluto activates a type of communication that doesn't skim the surface. It's surgical, precise, transformative. The kind of speech that cuts, but also heals. It might be uncomfortable, but it sets you free. This is the energy of confession, of the emotional release that brings relief, of the conversation that changes everything. You might feel the urge to say something that's been stuck in your throat for too long. Reveal a hard truth. Ask a question you've always avoided. Or simply speak in a more honest, raw, real way. If that feeling comes, don't ignore it. Communication today holds alchemical power. It can break toxic bonds, heal broken relationships, clear up deep misunderstandings, bring you closer to someone through vulnerability. But be warned, Pluto demands intention. If you use this energy to manipulate, lie, or hide, it can backfire. Pluto exposes, Mercury spreads. Use this power with integrity. Be honest, be direct, but above all, be deep. Because when you speak what truly matters, the universe listens, and something invisible shifts, both within and around you. This transit isn't just here to improve your communication, it's here to reveal, to shine a light on what's been hidden, to make visible what you tried to bury. Mercury opens the ears. Pluto whispers secrets. Together, they invite you to investigate what your mind has been avoiding. You might notice internal revelations, memories, insights, or feelings that surface out of nowhere but carry forgotten truths. Conversations that reveal what was behind the words. Insights about yourself that change how you see your story. It's as if, for a moment, the unconscious becomes crystal clear, and everything that once felt confusing makes perfect sense. But don't be fooled. Pluto doesn't reveal things on a whim. It reveals what you're ready to see, even if your mind still thinks you're not. This is the perfect moment for therapy, therapeutic writing, or deep conversations, accessing memories and unconscious patterns, uncovering the root of fears, repetitions, and self-sabotage. If you're willing to face what comes up, you can come out of this transit as a new version of yourself, clearer, freer, more whole, because truth sets you free, but only when you're ready to embrace it. This transit doesn't just play out in the realm of ideas, it stirs the emotional waters. What lies behind your words? The invisible roots of your behavior. When Mercury and Pluto align, the mind gains psychological depth. And with that depth comes everything that's been locked away in the basement of your consciousness. You might feel intense emotions with no clear reason, old memories surfacing spontaneously, a desire to understand the root of certain wounds or patterns, a need to clean out thoughts that have been looping for years. Don't run from this. That discomfort is healing in motion. The sextile creates a safe space to face deep issues without being overwhelmed by them. Unlike more tense aspects, this one supports integration, not collapse. That's why it's a precious moment for self-awareness work, honest internal dialogue, practices like journaling, family constellations, or guided meditation, investigations that blend logic and emotion. What changes during this transit isn't just what you think. It's how you feel what you think, and how you think about what you feel. When Mercury and Pluto move in harmony, you gain a key to your deeper psyche. And if you're brave enough to go in, you may come back with lost parts of yourself, finally reclaimed. Have you ever noticed how certain conversations can change everything between two people? Not because they were long or eloquent, but because they were honest, raw, real. That's the kind of exchange the Mercury-Pluto sextile favors. Today, relationships may deepen or transform completely. This transit acts like a false layer detector. If there's something unspoken between you and someone, a partner, friend, family member, it may rise to the surface. You might feel the urge to lay your cards on the table, a need to clear up an old misunderstanding, a gut feeling that there's more behind someone's words, the strength to end relationships built on games, secrets, or omissions. But it's also a powerful time to draw closer. When you speak with vulnerability and depth, emotional walls come down. What felt distant becomes intimate. What was shallow gains substance. If a relationship is worth rebuilding, this is the moment to plant the right words, with courage and truth. But remember, Pluto doesn't do halfway connections, and Mercury, touched by Pluto, won't tolerate them either. If something needs to end, this transit can bring the clarity and strength to say goodbye. And if something is meant to bloom, this is where the seed of trust is planted. Now that you understand the power of this aspect, the question is, how can you consciously work with this energy? The Mercury-Pluto sextile doesn't impose, it invites. And if you respond to that invitation, it can expand your self-awareness, heal connections, and turn your thoughts into tools for evolution. Here are some simple yet powerful practices for this moment. 1. Write the truth that lives within you. Grab pen and paper and write without filters. Let out everything tangled up in your mind. Ask yourself, what am I avoiding saying? What mental pattern am I ready to let go of? What did I need to hear years ago that I can tell myself now? Write until you feel lighter or emotional. That's your unconscious rearranging itself. 2. Have a brave conversation. You know that talk you've been putting off? Now's the time. Speak clearly, but without aggression. With truth, but without force. Let yourself be vulnerable. That's where real communication lives. 3. Meditate with key questions. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Ask yourself simple but profound questions like, what in me needs to die so I can be reborn? What am I ready to understand, even if it hurts? What truth of mine is ready to come to the surface? Just listen. The mind, touched by Pluto, speaks in silence. 4. Organize your mind. This is a great time to revisit old journals, read past notes with fresh eyes, trace connections between what you've thought and felt for years. Mercury brings clarity. Pluto brings depth. Together, they reveal patterns. And patterns revealed are patterns that can be transformed. This transit hands you the tools to cleanse, reorganize, rebuild. But it's up to you whether you simply feel the energy or use this chance to dive deeper into yourself. You won't see lights in the sky, There'll be no show, no headline warning. But today, something vast and silent is happening within you. The Mercury-Pluto sextile doesn't transform the world outside. It transforms how you see the world. And that, in itself, changes everything. Because when your mind dives deeper, your choices shift. Your voice shifts. You shift. This transit gave you a rare opportunity to speak with soul, to think with awareness, to see yourself with honesty, to transform patterns that have trapped you for years. But most importantly, it did so quietly, without noise, without pressure. Because the deepest transformations don't make a sound. They happen in the space between thoughts, between one breath and the next decision. Today, you were invited to dive, to descend, to hear what your soul has been trying to say for a long time. And if you truly listened, you came out of this journey more whole, more awake, more in command of yourself. Don't ignore what surfaced. Don't dismiss what was revealed. Because once a truth is seen, it can never be unseen. Use this strength, not to protect yourself, but to free yourself. The Mercury-Pluto sextile was brief, but what it activated could last for weeks, or even a lifetime. The question now is no longer, what did this transit show me? But rather, what will I do with what I saw? True transformation doesn't end with the transit. It begins with it. From here on, you may start to notice the ripples, subtle shifts in how you communicate, mental filters that have dropped, relationships now demanding more honesty, a new sense of clarity, even around old pain. It's your soul reorganizing what's been touched. What now? Give your insights time to settle. Don't rush to act. Pluto is still working in the background. Trust the inner digestion. Keep observing your thoughts. The transit opens space. Now it's up to you to decide what stays. Deepen the conversations that began. If a dialogue was sparked, don't abandon it. It's the start of a deeper restructuring. Write down the themes that emerged. Words, memories, patterns. They didn't appear by accident. They're clues. Stay open to quiet inner changes. Even when it seems like it's over, this energy is still integrating. The sky has moved on. But your work now is to not forget what you felt. Don't downplay the signs. Don't doubt the power of what was revealed. Your mind has returned to the surface, but your soul is still working in the depths. Make space, make silence, and most of all, stay with it. Because today you didn't just learn something new, you accessed a new version of yourself.